Good morning, Facebook. It's so good to have everybody here today. Um, and it's good to be back in the store this weekend. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Gail. I am a bookseller here at New Story Community Books in downtown Marshall, Michigan. We are a bookstore that specializes in both new and in used stock, as well as featuring a lot of gifts and gift merchandise that celebrates everything literary based and everything bookish based and everything fandom based. So if you haven't already come and checked out our brick and mortar store, highly encourage you to do that. Or you can check out our entire website that has all of our stock for sale at newstorybooks.com. And you can also order books, both new and used. We also ship throughout the entire continental U.S. We ship for free after $40 pre-tax, and we also do some local delivery for those that qualify in the zip codes that are listed on our website. If you order $35 worth of merchandise pre-tax, you can qualify for local free delivery. Free local delivery. There we go. Free local delivery. So if you haven't checked out any of those resources, we highly encourage you to check out our website. Or you can reach out to us if you've got more questions and contact us via phone, via email, or you can send us a message here on Facebook. So we are going to talk today about I wouldn't say it's necessarily a favorite, but it's one um, that I enjoy. I enjoy reading the books to see how people have overcome things in their lives. I call them tough stuff books or tough stuff memoirs. For kids in my classroom, I call them tough stuff books when I have worked with kids in my classroom. For those that don't know, I also teach. Um, and so these are all memoirs. These are adult centric. I would not give these to a middle schooler, maybe to a high schooler that is pretty mature. But all of these are going to be books that feature some kind of obstacle or at least one kind of obstacle that the writer had to overcome. And so we're going to start off with one that is just absolutely screaming its way up through the charts, blowing up all the charts, and has been really hard for us to keep on the shelf because everybody wants to read it, not only due to its author, but also due to some of the content that's within it. So we're going to start off with talking about Jeanette McCurdy's new revelatory memoir. And if you haven't already done so, please like this video, share this video, tag people in the comments about any of the books that you're interested in or books that you've read, and also leave comments about what are some other books that we didn't have during this live that we should have featured. You can check out our entire list that I've created because I'm only going to talk about a dozen books, but I think I put together well over 2 dozen on the list that's on our website. It features ones we have in store and ones that we can order. So if you haven't already checked out our website, you can click on the link in the title of this live video, and you'd be able to see the whole list. You can reserve these books through our website. You can order them there, and you can also check out other ones that you might be interested in. So, and if you have questions or if you would like to reserve a book while we are live, you can comment them below. I will do my best to remember to go back and check the comments as we're doing live things. For those that have watched before, I tend to get kind of caught up in talking about the books, and I forget to check the comments. So I'm going to do better about that today. That's my goal for today, other than talking about these really powerful books. So I had just finished about a week and a half ago, approximately. I just finished Jennette McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, which does have the title itself is something that makes people go, what? But it is it's a book that's by this actress. She was well known for her roles in iCarly, and over the past few years, they've done like the iCarly reboot. And she was also in Sam and Cat. I think I never watched these shows when I was a kid. It was just starting after I had gotten out of that phase, I guess you could say. So I think it was Sam and Cat is what she was. Yes, it was Sam and Cat was the other one that she was in. And after she did these two Nickelodeon shows, she just basically quit acting, like out of the blue. She did a few other side projects, but she really just kind of vanished. And then when they did the iCarly reboot, everyone was really surprised because she refused to have anything to do with it. And then this memoir comes out and it kind of demonstrates or kind of showcases some of the reasons why. I know the cover, it says on here, it says it's impressively funny. I would not call this book funny. I think that McCurdy herself has gained a reputation for being funny because that's just her persona on television and could very well be her persona in real life. I wouldn't say this book is funny. I would say that this book is definitely one that makes you think about family, the role of family, and manipulation that can happen. Not just physical manipulation, but also like psychological manipulation and the after effects of that. I know it's also been widely touted because it has some revelatory, I think is the word that I would use for it, information about people at Nickelodeon without naming names. But I really thought that this book was more interesting and more important for the way that she has dealt with the trauma and how she's acknowledging that she is still growing and that it's not an easy was not an easy like uphill just jaunt. There's a lot of plateaus and a lot of ups and downs. So I highly encourage you to check it if you haven't already. Snagged a copy of I'm Glad My Mom Died. We have a few. I think we've got two left here in the store, two or three left here in store, and we just got a whole shipment in last week. So it's super popular. Snag this book if you haven't already done so, and read it to not only find out some of the backstory stuff if you know somebody or if you liked iCarly or Sam and Cat or just like Jeanette McCurdy in general. But also if you want to learn a little bit more about how healing process isn't necessarily just an easy walk. So another memoir that's in a similar vein, it doesn't feature a celebrity, but I think it's in a similar vein that we have here in store, is Liz Shire, I think is how you say it, Shire's book, Never Simple. So this is another, I would say it's very similar to I'm Glad My Mom Died because it deals mostly with the author's relationship with her mother. And a lot of the ones that I pulled for the first few that I'm looking at, or that I'm going to showcase with you, have a similar vein where it's mother-daughter relationships or mother-parent or daughter-parent relationships. So this one I thought was very similar to McCurdy's book because it deals with how the mother in Liz's life led her on to believe many things about her family, about her life, and about herself, and they weren't necessarily all true. And so it's dealing with the author's dealing with how the author encounters that and processes all of that and moves beyond all of that while also trying to regain what she can with her family after some of the things that they've gone through. So if you like McCurdy's book or if you like those tough stuff memoirs, definitely check out Never Simple by Liz Shire. Shire, don't know. I'm not sure. It's one of those two, I think. Maybe it's entirely different, but I think it's one of those two ways to pronounce it. So this was a book that I was excited, and I think I've talked about it briefly in other lives. So some of these are ones that I've talked about in other lives. I tried to pull a bunch of new ones too, guys, but some of they just overlap. They're just so good. You just gotta read them. Just gotta read them. And this was one I was super excited to see that we still had in store, so I could talk about it today. It's Erica L Sanchez's Crying in the Bathroom. She is best known for she wrote the very popular young adult book I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. And so this is her memoir about her own growing up as being a person in a Latino community, and how she not only deals with her culture, but also the way that those who are not within her own community have dealt with, or not treated, that's the word, we're not dealt with, treated her throughout her growing up. So it deals with a whole bunch of topics. A lot of them are taboo topics. So once again, this is not one that I would necessarily hand to my 9th grade students and say, have at it. I would probably give this to an 11th or 12th grade student potentially, or suggest it to them. But if you know anybody who would appreciate reading about this author's experiences with growing up and about becoming confident and comfortable with herself in a cult or in a community and in a society that doesn't necessarily always see different groups as being positive, highly encourage you to check out Erica L Sanchez's Crying in the Bathroom. I think I've talked about this one too in another live, but I just was like, it fits so well with McCurdy's book about dealing with family and about daughter and parent relationships. So this is Somebody's Daughter by Ashley C. Ford. This has been one that's been pretty popular in our store and also in sister stores, or other stores that are other independent bookstores. So this is about the author Ashley's experience with her, I think, grandmother. Yes. I think she lives with her grandmother. I'm pretty sure this one. Yes. So she lives with her grandmother because her father's been incarcerated, and she didn't really know why, or she didn't know the real reason why. And then as she gets older, her grandmother, when she gets older, her grandmother tells her the real reason why her father's in prison. And Ashley then has to deal with how that her previous beliefs about him have been not necessarily completely true. And how can she view him now that she knows the truth about his incarceration and why he was incarcerated? So, highly encourage you, if you are interested in looking at how our beliefs about our families are shaped by those that we live with, and then how can you reckon with a massive shift in that understanding of people in your family. Highly encourage you to check out Ashley C. Ford's Somebody's Daughter. So a big part of the latter half of McCurdy's book, I'm checking the comments. Nope. Okay, cool. The latter half of McCurdy's book is related to how she deals with the mental health struggles that stem from her fame and from the manipulation and abuse that she endured when she was young. Or younger, I would say. And so this is another book that I think would go along well with anybody who is interested in seeing how people overcome and deal with mental health struggles, especially young people. And so I've got Prozac Nation by Elizabeth Wurtzel. Its subtitle is Young and Depressed in America. And so this not only deals with the author's struggles with mental health, with depression, and with other mental health related disorders or diagnoses. She also she also touches upon how our culture as a whole stigmatizes mental health struggles, and especially with depression and substance abuse and things to that effect. So I highly encourage you to check out Prozac Nation if you have any interest in looking at not just one person's story about mental health struggles, but also if you are interested in, or know somebody who is interested in seeing how society as a whole views and stigmatizes these disorders. When I told one of my very dear friends what I was going to be talking about in my live, and that I was going to be talking about Jennette McCurdy's book and books that were like it, Tough Stuff memoirs, also sometimes occasionally in our store we call them trauma biographies or trauma memoirs. Immediately this dear person in my life said, you need to talk about a child called It. This is just a classic overcoming story that also highlights extreme abusive, I guess you would say, relationships with family members and with children, and extreme manipulation, just in so many ways. It's a very difficult book to read. It is a very short book. It's the shortest book I think that I have grabbed for this live today. But I think it's very important for not only seeing how one can overcome such atrocious and awful things in one's life, but also what are some warning signs, I guess, as people in society that we can look for, and how we can best help those who are in such situations. So if you haven't ever read A Child Called It by Dave Peltzer, or any of the, I wouldn't say spin off, but the follow-up books, like A Man Called Dave, and then there's another one over there that I can't remember what it is called right now, but I can see the cover in my head. Highly encourage you to check those out if you are looking for a story of somebody who came from some absolutely atrocious and horrible situations, but still was able to overcome. And And then this was another book that I wanted to showcase, and I was glad that we still had some copies in store. And what's really cool is that we've got some signed copies by the author still in store. This is Dirtbag, Massachusetts, a confessional. It's by Isaac Fitzgerald, and so this is a male author and a male writer, because most of the books that I pulled today I think are female. I think I've got 2 or 3 that have male. I keep wanting to say protagonist, but it's not a story so much. I mean, it's a true story, so it's not protagonist, but male focused, male centric, male author throughout this. And so we've got our author. He talks about all of the things that he has done in his life. He has had quite a few roles within his life. Some of those are positive roles, and some of those are not necessarily so much positive roles, especially with his growing up, because he grew up in a difficult situation, family situation. But this book really deals with how that childhood, that with a lot of the stress and the struggles that he and his family were going through, really formulated a lot of anger and a lot of frustration, a lot of unhealthy coping mechanisms within his life that he, as he got older, would manifest in different ways, and then he needed to find ways to deal with it. This one has, I would say, a little bit more. There's a little bit more humor in this one than some of the others that I've showcased. I would say there's probably more humor even in this than in McCurdy's book. But I highly encourage you, if you're interested in, once again, one of those overcoming and personal growth memoirs, check out Dirtbag, Massachusetts by Isaac Fitzgerald. So this is another one I was super glad that we still had in stock, because as soon as we discussed that I would do a live about Jennette McCurdy's book and books that are similar, I was like, oh, I really hope this one is still in stock so I could talk about it, because part of the draw of Jennette McCurdy's novel is that Jennette McCurdy's memoir is that she is so well known for her role as being a funny human being, and how that kind of covered up some of the things that she had that were negative in her life. And another very famous and very person who was known for being witty and being funny and being a TV persona is Trevor Noah. And so we have Trevor Noah's memoir still here in stock. Yeah, it's memoir. I would say I wouldn't call it an autobiography because it's not his entire life, because he's not gone. Or not a biography because I'm not gone. But this is his book, Born a Crime, and then the subtitle is Stories from a South African Childhood. And I thought this was important because it not just deals with what's happening here in the U.S. It also is talking about how he grew up in another country and what struggles he overcame there, which is just so important for readers of all ages to see how others live and to be exposed to other viewpoints. So this deals with his growing up when he was in South Africa, and the big changes that happened in his life after the apartheid was I wouldn't necessarily abolished, but was ended. And so then what happened after that, after freedom was finally restored to his country, where he was growing up. So if you're interested in, once again, seeing how somebody came, rags to riches is almost, that's too cliche of a term, but from somebody who came from a very difficult background but was still able to become very successful and very famous, especially in the television and media industry, definitely check out Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. So in the vein of talking about people who are not just born and raised here in the U.S. and some of the things that they overcame, I was really excited that we had this newer memoir. It's a Read with Jenna book that has come out recently and has been creating a lot of buzz and getting a lot of buzz. It is called Solito. Solito. It's by Javier Zamora. And it would be a great read for anybody who would be looking for Hispanic authors, because it is Hispanic Heritage Month, and I'm hoping that we get to do a quick live about that in the future. But this is a story of Javier, and his dealing with how his family was separated. So he's from, is it El Salvador, I think? Yes. So he begins his life in El Salvador with his family, but then his parents move and get themselves to the U.S., but he's still in El Salvador. And so this deals with his journey from El Salvador through Guatemala and through Mexico, all the way up to up to the U.S. so that he can reunite with them. And so it's the trials and the struggles that he dealt with, not only his in his original country, but also through his trip to come here to the U.S. So highly encourage you, if you're interested in those stories of overcoming massive odds, especially at a very young age, check out Solito by Javier Zamora. And then there's another book that's dealing with cultures that are not necessarily just here from the US, for people who have traveled from another country, another memoir that I thought would be interesting and intriguing for those who like McCurdy's book, but would like to find out more about what's occurring in other places too. I grabbed, I think it's Lytron's, or it could be Lee, but I think it's Lytron's House of Sticks, which is her memoir about growing up as in a Vietnamese family who came from Vietnam when she was young, and settled here in the U.S. And then she had a life that was very different from her peers, because she would go home and she had to, even as a young child, had to assist with work so that they would be able to make ends meet. So she was struggling not only to fit in with her peers, because she had a different cultural background from so many of them and a different life experience from so many of them, but also she was struggling with her family financially, and just socioeconomically, to make ends meet and to survive here in the U.S. And she also has, I thought this was really interesting. I have not read this book myself yet, but I've just moved it up on my list as I was reading more about it, because she starts to struggle with being able to see things on the board at school and things to that effect, but her family, especially her father, is very much against her getting anything to assist any glasses, because he believes it's some kind of conspiracy with the government to get some glasses. So she has to not only deal with the struggles of physically being able to see the things that she needs to see in her life, but also with that mindset of her family. So I highly encourage you, if you're interested in any of those themes, any of those ideas. Hi, Tom. If you're interested in any of those themes and ideas, definitely check out Lee Trom's House of Sticks. Let me check my comments real quick, because I got a notification that there is a comment. Yes, Trevor is awesome. I've not read that book myself. It is on my list. That's the thing, guys. I have so many books on my list, it's not even funny. And I will likely never be able to read them in my lifetime. But you know what? If I put them on my list, then maybe I will get to them at some point. So another book that as I was researching, putting together this live, I was really excited about, and we can't sell it to you guys yet. You can reserve it, but we can't sell it to you yet because it's not officially out until Tuesday. But I wanted to show it to you guys. And so it's kind of coming off of that idea that we had with the previous book of the conspiracies about the government and the family struggles, with beliefs about whether things in this country are the way that they are, or if there's something different about them. I snagged a copy of Uncultured, and you see how it's highlighted. Oops, it's highlighted with cult is in red here. It's by Daniela Messianic Young, I think is how you say that. And this would be great for anybody who, if you liked House of Sticks, definitely would check this out. Or if you liked books like Under the Banner of Heaven, which is going to be a film, I think it's a film on Netflix fairly soon. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it is out. I know it's going to be on the big screen. It's going to be on a screen somewhere coming to you. But if you're interested in that, or if you liked Educated, I would highly encourage you to check out Uncultured. So this is about a young woman who is, let's see, which group was she a part of? I'm blanking on which group. She was in the religious cult called Children of God, also known as the Family, and which is in Brazil. And then that's where she grew up. It also mentions that if you like The Glass Castle, which I will talk about later too, I'm super excited about it because I always talk about that one, that you would like this book. But so she was in Brazil, and then eventually when she became a teenager, she was just fed up and sick of the life that she was living, and so she got herself out of the family, and then discovered the world beyond that. And so she dealt with the issues, the traumas, the the beliefs that had been impressed upon her for her entire life, and how she overcame those, and how she's still managing some of those the residual effects of that situation. So if you are interested in, in those some of those overcoming books, if you loved Educated or Glass Castle, or if you are interested in learning more about cults and those, please don't become part of a cult. But if you are interested in learning about more of the mindset with cults, definitely check out Uncultured. Not on sale yet, though, guys. It's on sale on Tuesday, so you can reserve it on our website. In the same vein as that, I grabbed another book that is not a cult in another country, but deals with religious groups here in the U.S. So I grabbed Cinder Girl, which is another one that's moved itself higher on my list of tough stuff, trauma type memoirs to read. It was already on my list, but it's been moved even further up now that I've read a little bit more about it. So this was, I wouldn't say necessarily a group in the U.S., but just difficulties that this young woman dealt with because she's not part of, I would say, necessarily upper class, or what was considered the upper class during the time that she was growing up. So this is about a young woman, Holly Thompson Rader, who, when she was young, she ended up dropping out of high school at 15, I believe, to help take care of her mom and her sibling after there was a really difficult or really terrible car accident. So she's taking care of those. And then soon after that, still as a teenager, to kind of, I wouldn't say to escape, but as a result of the life that she's been living, she ends up married and pregnant very, very young, and she gets wrapped up in the cycle of poverty that so often occurs during or in our society. And so this is just showcasing how she what she endured there, but then within a few decades she became a very successful businesswoman in Missouri. Yes, in Missouri, and she's very inspiring for lots of women in Missouri, especially and throughout the country, showing that you can rise and you can overcome. So I highly encourage you to check this out if you were interested, or if you liked reading. Especially, this is giving me Glass Castle vibes in a lot of ways, because it's once again the extreme poverty all the way to being very very, very influential, and being very not impoverished. So if you're encouraged with those things and about overcoming, check out Cinder Girl by Holly Thompson Rader. So this is a book that we only have it in used right now. We can order it new for you. We only have it in used, but I love to recommend it because anybody who's ever read it and has come back to me after I recommended it to me said, it was so good. So good. Thanks for this recommendation. And I thought this was really pertaining to McCurdy's book dealing with the mental health struggles, kind of like the Prozac Nation book that we talked about. But this was just an interesting, this is a very unique memoir and a very unique story. So this is Brain on Fire, My Month of Madness by Susanna Callahan. It's been out for a little while, but I just think that it's such a unique story. It's just so interesting. So this is a young woman who she's 20, she's 24, and she wakes up in a hospital room, and she's strapped down. She can't move, she can't speak, and she learns that she has been having a massive mental breakdown that she has no recollection of, and within just less than a week prior, she'd been confident, successful, healthy, happy young woman, and now she's being labeled as all these things, as being violent and being a risk, a danger to herself, a danger to others, and so now she's trying to piece together what happened in those couple of days that she has no recollection of. What caused her the one that sticks in my mind is just to snap, right? To go from everything's fine to everything is absolutely not fine. So I highly encourage you to check out Brain on Fire if you have any interest in mental health and and what happens when there are breakdowns in those things and how people can overcome and piece their lives back together. So I highly encourage you to check out Brain on Fire. And then last but not least, I know I've talked about all of these before in other lives, so check out some of our other lives. But I wanted to really quick showcase them because if you liked Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, or if you want any of these ideas and topics are interesting to you, these are three that I have read aside from McCurdy's memoir that I recommend all the time and that are fantastic books for reading, especially if you're looking for books about people overcoming struggles, personal and family struggles. If you've not read Educated by Tara Westover, go and put that on your shelf right now. Come get a copy from our store. We've got them both new and used right now. If you've not read The Glass Castle by Jeanette Wald, make sure that you do that. Put this one at the top of your list. This is my favorite memoir that I've ever read. It's very similar, like with the similar Cinder Girl, where it's a woman who came from such difficult situations and then she overcame to become very successful. But it's so eye-opening for me. Such a good book. Please put this one on your list if you've not already done so. And last but not least, another one that just changed the way that I view different aspects of our society, and also where I grew up and people that I've interacted with my entire life. If you've not read Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance, which is a memoir of family and a culture in crisis, and deals with specifically Midwestern poverty and low SES, low socioeconomic status situations, highly encourage you to check this book out. So good, so good. It changed a lot of things about what I believe and what I see, and my understanding of the culture that we have here, even in Western Michigan and Southwestern Michigan. All right, so those are all of the books that I have for you guys today. Like I said, there's even more that are on the website because there's some that we've sold out of that I really wanted to talk about today, like A Stolen Life by J.C. Dugard. And oh my goodness, now I'm blanking on the other one that I really wanted to talk about. But we don't have it right now in store because we sold it. But check out that list if you're interested in this topic or just want to see what other things I put on that list. Comment below if there are other books that I should have featured in today's live, or that I should have on that list that would be great for those who liked Jeanette McCurdy's memoir or thought it was as important of a book to read as I felt that it was. A couple of events to keep on your radar. So first one is coming up next week, Saturday. We are very excited here in Marshall because we're going to kick off Skeleton Fest here in Marshall. So there'll be giant skeletons everywhere on the street. A lot of the stores will be celebrating the fall season kind of kickoff, and we'll have different fun things for you and the family to see. And also the Where's Scully contest will be starting off next week as well. So check out our social media to see what our skeleton looks like, and check out, I think it's with I don't remember who has the Where's Scully list. I will talk about that more in our next live next week. But we are really excited because we are going to be back at the Bewitching Peddlers of Halloween next Saturday at the Calhoun County Fairgrounds. This is a really cool showcase of artists from all over the U.S. Who have come to show their own spin on what Halloween is. And so there's lots of beautiful and unique and eclectic artwork there. There'll be lots of things celebrating Halloween, the Halloween season, the fall season. So if you haven't already purchased I think you can purchase tickets. Or if you haven't planned to purchase tickets or go and check that out, I think the doors open at 9 if you do the early walk-in, and then general admission, I believe, is 10. Let me verify real quick. Early buy is 8 a.m., 8 to 10. General show starts at 10 o'clock. But we will be there as well. We are going to have a booth there. We will be showcasing all of our most unique and most fun Halloween celebrating and fall celebrating merchandise. So check us out and say hi when you are there. A couple other things to keep on your radar as well. We will be the following day. We are going to be in downtown Battle Creek at September Breaking Bread Bazaar, hosted by Cafe Rica, and so that will be next week Sunday, so the 25th. Check us out there in downtown Battle Creek. We're also going to be in downtown Battle Creek a little bit more in October. We will talk more about that, but there's going to be another night market that I'll talk about, and we're working on another event with Battle Creek, another small business there, and Battle Creek is another vendor there. we have a couple of fun things that are going on here in store right now. So one of those is our banned book bingo. There's some more alliteration for you. We have our banned book bingo challenge is what we are calling it. So you can check out our social media. We're going to be putting a real post about that together this week. But you can check out our website for more information. You can contact the store. But we'll be doing some reading challenges and some giveaways related to this banned books bingo challenge. So reach out to the store if you're interested in getting into that. But we will talk more about that next week as well. And we also have a couple of sales that are happening here in store. Excuse me, today is the last day for children's books on sale, and then next week to kick off some of the cooler weather spooky season type things. We have all of our mystery and thriller books on in the store, both new and used. Our buy one get one 50% off, so you can stock up on some reading for some of those chilly nights. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Like I said previously, please like this video, share this video, tag people in the comments. Let us know, comment and let us know what should we also have on our list that I didn't get to showcase today. And please check out that list on the website. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we appreciate all of you, and we look forward to helping you find a new story. Bye, guys.